started?
Yeah, it's been going for like 4 minutes.
Oh, okay, great. Got all that content.
State of the world got you down?
Boy, does it ever.
Have you recently experienced the urge to join a picket line or read a manifesto?
Yeah, I have experienced that.
If this sounds like you, then you've come to the right place. I'm Remy.
And I'm Jaimie.
And you're listening to
So, I guess I've been radicalized?
A show where we talk about politics, organizing, and world events from an anti-capitalist lens. Join us each week and learn how you
Can get organized today. So, wow. Here we are, once again.
We are, once again.
Yes. We have a new, podcast member.
Somewhere.
I don't know where he went. Oh, he's right here! Come here, buddy! Come here, sir. We need to show you.
Come here, son.
You
Show
have been a
yourself to the
menace.
world.
You've been a menace the whole time. We haven't been filming. But now you decide not to be. This is Bear. Bear is our little foster boy.
Little boy.
I've decided.
And
yes.
He was feeling a little sicky for the first 3 days we
Yeah,
had him
we
without
thought,
us realizing.
Wow, this is such a good cat. He's so calm and doesn't do anything. He doesn't bite plants. He doesn't bite your food.
He just
Psych, bitch. He's a
took him to
menace.
the vet and he got a little bit of like nausea medication and then he finally started eating again and he's just been havoc.
He's insane.
Havoc.
Yeah.
running around, biting shit, being crazy.
Small crazy boy.
So
But
he will definitely be a menace
exciting.
today.
Yeah. Yes. We're gonna see how many times he scratches this chair.
Oh, he loves
Because
scratching.
this chair
It's covered
is-
in blankets, and he just lifts
Yeah.
them up and scratches them anyway.
Yeah. He's too smart for his own good. Oh, is he gonna take down our curtain?
We'll see.
Anyway.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
To the podcast. Also, yeah, after I was editing, I realized that in our intro song, it says the wrong name for the podcast, but I don't want to re-record it,
that's
so...
funny. Can you tell we've never done this before?
This is our second try after a year.
Uh-huh. Still. We don't think about those things.
No. Should put vodka in this.
There's not some already. Also, this smells so much like plastic. I feel like...
Should we part with them?
Yeah.
No.
I think we should.
I'm so full of BPAs.
We need to go to Dollarama and get some new plastic Stone cups.
Toxic.
Mm-hmm.
You're toxic. I'm slipping. Today's episode is... I didn't title it.
Oh! That's the title?
Yeah.
I didn't title it.
We'll come up with...
Isn't it
You know, the real
Utopia?
title is the one that we make
We have
along
in
the
our
way.
hearts!
Like, I have a working title, but I don't know if it's gonna be the title, you know?
Okay, well, it sounds like it's a lot of what happens during this podcast. Of us not thinking about things, and then
It's okay.
whatever comes up.
Hey, we're just little guys. It's our first day.
Yeah, it's our first day.
It's our first day. We're just little
Yes,
guys.
Yeah.
Also,
Nice.
we're filming Halloween weekend, so I decided to do a little Halloween look.
Yeah, and I didn't. I am in fall colors, and they're nice. Well, black is all color with everything.
So then it's not a fall color
Yeah.
specifically, it's just a color. So you only have
Okay,
one
so then
fall
anything
color.
can be fall colors then.
That's not true now, is it?
Oh, well, it can be if you want it to be. Is this how we're going to start off this podcast, huh?
I
You
don't
just
know.
being a little shit? You've been a little
It's my
shit the last
turn.
couple days, yeah. It's been pretty
When will it be my turn?
interesting.
It's right now.
Right now, I guess, yeah.
It's been an antagonistic. That was a lot of A sounds right in a row.
Yes.
I've just been in an antagonistic mood lately, I
Oh.
suppose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll get your bag, girl.
Boy, will I, since I'm not getting any other bags. I'm unemployed.
This is just turning into like a basement yard podcast where they just like start it off and see what happens, you know?
Yeah, except no, I did
Yes.
things.
They have their sheet. Oh my god. Oh my
Son.
god. Son! Okay,
Wait.
stop for a second.
What the fuck? Okay, he just jumped into like a little space in our cupboard that's like this big, like 5 feet in the air.
I think the sound of that was him whacking his head on the top of it.
And he turned around and jumped back out again. He's just been getting more and more with every passing day.
I think we don't play with him enough because he just has so much energy.
But he doesn't want to play along for that long. He gets bored of games.
Because I think it's not like intellectually stimulating enough for him.
Intellectually stimulating
enough.
enough
Yes, he's a smart boy. He's a smart guy. We need some...
If you don't give my son that extracurricular credit right now,
give him a Rubik's Cube. he will solve it.
The only thing holding him back is his non-opposable thumbs.
Exactly, yeah.
If he had it, it'd be over for you bitches.
The world in that brain right there.
Okay, so I thought I would start today's episode off with a question that's slightly related. Yeah,
I think
we've started all of them with the questions because I'm stealing the format from a different podcast.
Right.
Madeline Pendleton's Pick Me Up, I'm Scared. Great podcast, 10 out of 10.
Love.
Yes, I loved their format, so I stole it for myself.
Yay.
If you could wish for anything to happen, like a magical genie wish right now, what would it be?
Finish all my assignments. All of them are just done. Poof. Amazing. And then I can enjoy my life for a second.
Just to get this straight, you had the magical power of a genie to make anything happen. And you choose assignments that will be like due in like what? A couple weeks to a couple months.
Yeah, because all you bitches who are like, world peace, are like that kind of, it's like, no, I'm thinking about what is stressing me out right in this moment. That would be done. That would be done for it. So, yeah, so I'm gonna go with that. Just to spice things up a little bit, you know? Because obviously there's a lot of things that I could solve, and obviously I would do that if this was a real situation.
But for comedic effect.
For comedic effect, which is why I'm here. I'm gonna say that.
Takes two bitches to be funny.
It does. Exactly. 2 of them in here.
Shh, don't say that. You know we don't talk about this with the others.
What it feels like sometimes. Sir! There's one. That's one. We were keeping track of how many times he scratches this fucking chair. Did I say that already? I don't know if I did.
Yeah.
I think I did, yes.
We bet you said 16.
That's
I said
one.
12.
Yes, yeah. So, follow along at home.
Yeah, obviously I'd wish for, like, world peace.
You would?
Sick son of a bitch.
You would wish for world peace?
Yeah,
okay.
with the infinite power of the universe.
And what does that mean?
It means...
What does world peace mean?
The end to exploitation and suffering by people and creatures. Hello. Oh my god.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
Worldwide. Yep.
And so that would require the capabilities of
a genie.
The human experience to be changed. Yes,
No.
but that would be the human experience changing.
That's a big
we've seen
topic.
trends in history that of how you
That's not this week's topic. That's 2 weeks from now.
That's what I'm saying. It's complicated.
Yeah, but if I wish for it, at least we'll be... if we wish for it, and even if it falls apart in the end, it'll probably be better than what we're in right the fuck now. Today... Oh, is there any recent, like, world events to talk about? I mean, like, the Palestine-Israel situation still
just
developing.
Getting more, getting more fucked.
Actually, something that I wanted to talk about last week, or that I thought of in retrospect when I was editing, are you... Oh my god. Why are you so crazy?
We are just a pawn in his world.
Apparently! You're so crazy right now.
You're so crazy right now. You come in looking so crazy right now.
The provincial election for the new premier.
Oh, yes.
Well, canoe.
Yeah.
NDP, let's go in Manitoba.
And, yeah, in terms of Manitoba, but also the school board thing. Kirk Carr.
Did Kirk Carr
Yes,
win? Yay!
Kirk Carr.
Okay.
So we're here for good things of those, around who know what that
those
is.
Those who know
anyway.
who know. I voted by mail and everything.
Yes, they did a good job.
Civic duty upheld. But yes, congratulations to Wab Canoe for winning the election to be Manitoba's premier with the NDP.
Incredible. First Indigenous premier
of Manitoba.
And
who is already making great strides to improve our healthcare system in Manitoba. It has begun to search the landfill for missing and murdered Indigenous women, which has been a controversy going on for the last is it years now?
Years yeah.
Now?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And just seems like a swell guy overall. I remember seeing pictures of him on like bus benches back like when I used to live there 8 years ago now.
Yeah,
and now look at it.
Crazy.
It's so cool.
Yeah. I'm really, really proud of the community for
his
for
cabinet
doing that.
choice, the choice of his cabinet, one of like the most diverse. Amazing. So, way to go, Wab.
Manitoba. Proud to be Manitoban.
But not in a weird like guns and farm way.
What?
Like proud to be Manitoba.
Oh, guns and what did you say?
Farms.
Guns and farms? Okay.
You know,
I heard like Gups and Farm and like is that like a literature reference that I'm not getting?
No, I'm not enunciating very clearly.
That's okay. I also just don't listen sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
No
way.
way.
I noticed, yeah.
And
we're back.
Yeah, sorry. iMovie was taking up like 112 gigabytes on my computer, and I ran out of disk space.
Almost brought the coke in. Oh, I said it anyway.
Tisk. Free advertising.
Yeah.
But now we're back. I deleted a bunch of shit. I'm gonna have to like clear out I have to clean up my disk. That's a problem for later.
Clean that disk.
Boy, will I. So today's episode is about we're gonna imagine a better world. We're gonna enact revolutionary optimism.
Cool.
So you guys can do it along with us.
Everybody,
you seem like you're in
clap your hands.
You seem like you're in such an optimistic mood lately.
Oh yeah, it's been so good. Just to be alive.
Feels great. So let's take some time to apply the concept of revolutionary optimism by fantasizing about a better world. You weren't sleeping for very long, were ya?
World. He just wants to be around.
And evil. You really got your Halloween spirit on, don't ya?
Yeah.
You said we are going to set aside the constraints of reality and picture the perfect world. We don't need to think about the hows of anything, because we can have whatever we want. As if you woke up tomorrow in the perfect world where you had access to everything you would need to live a happy and fulfilled life without. Wow, I repeated myself a lot when I wrote this out. I didn't really check it over. Without having to worry about where everything you want comes from. And we're going to imagine this utopia from the perspective of an average person living there. Our only limitation is that our utopia is going to exist in our real world with our laws of physics, so no magic, but unlimited technology and resources. We're thinking Star Trek, not Tolkien. In terms of our utopia. So, tomorrow morning, overnight you were transported to your perfect utopia.
Cool.
You wake up your eyes. What'd you say?
So I can fuck with this. Yeah.
You're an expert in this already.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start with you wake up and how do you feel? You don't have to picture your surroundings yet, but you're in paradise. What's the first thing that you want to feel when you wake up in paradise? Physically and emotionally.
But I know this is paradise?
Yes. Yeah.
So I wake up and I'm not like, what the fuck is going on?
We're gonna say that you've been there for. This is not gonna be like this is not a novel. This is a thought experiment.
Okay. Well, I need some more details here.
Okay, fine. Yeah. We'll come back around to that one.
Okay.
We'll come back around to that one. Okay. So you open your eyes. You're in paradise.
Yes.
What does your room look like? How big is it? What kind of bed do you have? What do you see when you look out your window? Ideally, perfect world.
Right. Okay. Well, it is a clear summer's day.
Shut up, shut up, shut up. I need to go to my mind palace.
Yeah, I have not, this is not my form of escapism, so it takes me a bit to,
Right.
I have not
You have
thought
a
about this before. I have a different, yes.
form of escapism.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know, it's warm, I think is the first thing I think of. It's like, it's a like a perfect summer's day, like 20 degrees, and there's no bugs, there's no wind, or like a slight breeze maybe. Fucking hate the wind.
It's a good thing we lived on the prairies.
Yeah, just everywhere is wind.
I don't like the sand. How coarse it is. It gets into everything.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some smooth sand. Yeah, if there were to be sand. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of mostly the thing that I think of, is just being like comfortably in like the environment. But that's in a terms of like utopia that is possible. That's also not very possible because we've kind of fucked up our environment, haven't we?
Hey, we're not thinking about that. We're thinking
Well,
about happy times. What does your... This is escapism. This is fantasy.
Right,
remember?
and it's showing a lot about myself just in general.
Well, that wouldn't work because...
Yeah.
Shut that part up for a second.
You think I haven't tried? But anyway,
what's your room like? What's your bed? What kind of bed you got?
I don't know. It's pretty similar to what I've got right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have wheels.
That's for fucking sure.
I'm on a quest to find a really good bed frame for like not $1 million, because yeah, that's the kind of thing that's missing from my life right now, is a nice solid bed frame. So I have a good bed frame, I guess.
Okay. What color is it?
It's like a good wood, like a very like warm wood, like
warm
mahogany
wood.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's what everybody's into these days.
Solid. Yeah. Love me some warm wood, you know.
Where can I find me some of that?
Yeah. Right.
Not with the timber industry in the state that it's in.
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you. I've been
anyway.
known to be as such on occasion.
So yeah.
Okay. So you have a warm mahogany wood bed frame.
I do.
Do you have a big room?
Yeah, it's big. It's big enough that I can do yoga in an area of it comfortably.
Okay.
Because that's one thing that holds me back from doing yoga, is having a space to do it in. It's just, yeah, it's kind of annoying. So yeah,
Okay.
there's that. There's plants. I love me some plants. There's also animals that don't eat plants.
Not like you, little menace.
So that's nice. Yeah, there's a bunch of like art on the wall. It's like a very like
vibes.
Yeah, vibes, warm lighting. Yeah.
Sick. Okay, so you've woken up.
Okay.
You're like,
Wow.
This is the best world ever.
Yes.
And then you're gonna head downstairs for breakfast.
Okay, I'm upstairs. I don't know if I would want to be upstairs though.
Then you walk out your door. You walk.
Can I take a
hall.
slide?
Yeah.
I take a slide down to breakfast.
Are we playing
Okay.
D&D right now?
Oh shit! Now I'm clapping. In the last one, we had issues editing it because it would clap all the time. It would be like, oh, what's happening at that spot? Because we'd also clap when we want to cut things. So I'll try not to do that too.
Thank goodness. Bye, son.
Let's see how long that lasts. Anyway.
You take a slide.
I took a slide down to breakfast.
Into the kitchen.
Okay.
What are you having for breakfast in paradise?
Oh, fuck. That is, this has been the bane of my existence for the past couple of weeks. I have no breakfast food that I like. I don't know what to eat, because everything that I think of is just not good.
No.
So something that is beyond my comprehension of what is good breakfast food.
There's a robot. It scans your brain and it's like, this is what you've actually been secretly craving this whole time. Yeah,
like,
it
wow.
makes it.
That is amazing.
Breakfast magically appears for you without having to make any decisions.
No, I would. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, this is realistic utopia, because I was gonna say the most utopias that I just don't wake up hungry, and then I can just go straight to lunch, because lunch food is amazing.
You don't have to have breakfast food in the morning. You can have lunch.
No, I'm hungry. Well, but it's not like a it has to be like a good setup for the day, you know? Because if I eat something that's too strong, like flavor-wise, then I get upsetty. Like tummy gets upsetty.
Okay.
So I have to have something that's like neutral enough and that my body knows that it is breakfast food. Because I have been a breakfast food person my entire life. So
Until they've all let you down.
yeah, until it's all now become a sensory issue that I just can't eat it.
That's tough. Yeah.
It is tough. Thanks for noticing. What?
Sorry, my uncontained rage almost came out there.
Yeah, shit. Would have gone everywhere.
That would have been terrible.
It's supposed to be his job.
Yeah, well, I need a job too. Employ me.
Employ me.
I could work. I can work for you.
Work.
Okay, so you had breakfast. What's the rest of your sick house like in Paradise?
Paradise.
I have a few other things you can think about, like what kind of amenities do you have? What does it look like? How big is it? Who do you live with? What color are things?
I would say
is there like an overall vibe that you can maybe ascribe to it?
Definitely like community. I wake up with people that I know that I like and that are unproblematic because I have social anxiety, so that would be utopia, in which case I wouldn't have to worry about any of that. So, yeah, there's that. I don't know, like a big table, we're all eating breakfast, or all the people that are awake at that time that they want to eat breakfast, which I would hope would be a lot of people. So that would be nice.
Oh, since you can't choose about breakfast, maybe it's just like a breakfast buffet type thing, and then you can pick and choose whatever you want after looking at it.
Yeah, you know, I think that's also because I have this, I think it's a video that you sent me of like...
Oh, that like communal house.
Yeah, I think I have that picture in my head.
Yeah, I also thought of that.
Really
that
nice.
would be nice.
That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Because then everyone has their own little task to do too, so then it's like
you don't have to put your brain power towards the whole thing either.
Exactly, because that is also part of it, is choosing something for breakfast. Fuck that shit.
What if you choose wrong?
Ta-da!
And it's all there.
And it's just there.
Yeah.
And you can just eat it.
And then
that's the
you're
best
also
part.
getting different food most of the time too.
Yes.
Because you're a big group of people, so you can justify having a different dish every day of the week rather than like having the same thing over and over again.
I think, because I think in that video it was like a smoked salmon, cream cheese on a bagel moment. Fuck, I would fuck that shit up right now. But smoked salmon is so expensive, so no. Rather not eat.
But if we
anything,
pooled our resources, we
exactly.
could justify having it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. You know what? I'm down with your idea of Paradise so far.
Thanks.
I think we're on the same page.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Reading out the same book. So after breakfast, what do you do with your time here in Paradise? You don't have to work. All your needs and wants are taken care of, even luxury goods. Let's say you have like a replicator that can create whatever you want. How do you choose to spend your days? In the house, outside of the house, long term, short term, and like, if you can even imagine it, what do you think would like some goals in your life might be, living in a world where you don't have to worry about making enough money to afford your basic needs?
I mean, this is also kind of biased to where I am in my world right now, because of what I want is based on what I have right now, in which case what I have right now is just a hell of schoolwork. And so I just don't want that right now. That would be the utopia. So I think like waking up, eating breakfast, and then going have like a mid-morning nap is one of my favorite fucking things to do when I have like a day off. So that sounds really nice.
Have a little brekkie, do a little stretch, take another little nap.
Exactly. Or just like the moment of like waking up like and like feeling not energized, and then eating, and then you're like so sleepy again, and then being able to sleep. It's the best fucking thing.
That is Paradise.
So nice, yeah. And then I don't know, I would like to paint. I really like painting, and I want more time to be able to do that. So I feel like having something and like it all set up already. Because that's another part
just
of
like
it.
Keeping like a little art studio moment somewhere where all the paint's already out and all the shit's already set up.
It's there, it's ready. I don't have to set it up and take it down again.
That's nice.
Yeah, that would also be nice. There's a hammock outside that I can maybe take said nap in.
Oh, that would be a hammock nap?
Yeah. Oh, fucking slaps.
In the sunlight.
Yeah, maybe some. Never mind.
Hi.
Maybe some. I don't know how to say this in words.
Well,
some.
So you can start with sounds and then build from there.
A mushroom doesn't make any sound. So
Sounds doesn't start pronouncing the word, not make the sound of the mushroom.
Just. Anyway, so yes, so maybe some mind-altering substances that would be enjoyable.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, maybe there's a lake I can swim in.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
It'd be very nice.
Nice little clear one
I've
without
always-
a lot of mud.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a good gardener too, but
Hmm.
again, that is another thing that it's low on the priority list, so I have not taken the time to do that. So
Gardening. I would fuck
I'd
up
like
some
to
gardening
learn
if I
how to
could actually
garden.
have like time
Yeah.
to do so.
exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, something like that. Just being able to live
Yeah.
and not work.
Would you have any like shorter or longer term projects outside of that, or do you think you'd be like satisfied enough with just like kind of day to day, whatever comes up comes up?
I have not been able to think about long-term projects ever in my life. It's always just completing the next thing every week, so I don't even know how to begin to think about that.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
yeah. Taking it day by day.
Oh yeah. In Paradise, what kind of technology do you have access to, and how do you like interact with it? Is it like in your home? Do you interact with it like daily? Less than that? Anything is possible, and any kind of integration. Like what's the ideal relationship to technology that you would have in Paradise?
To be honest, like not a ton. I feel like the most useful technology that I could think of right now is like hygiene based. I want to be able to live like a life in the countryside without like dying from dysentery. So the technology in the base of like all of the food gets put into something that maybe takes like disinfects it, cleans it, takes out rotten shit, like that kind of stuff. All the prep work that would be so like insufferable if I had to do it myself safely.
Like you have like 6 million single-use appliances, but somehow they're all in one appliance. Like an apple peeler and a potato peeler and like a corer and a washer and one of those like automatic salad spinners, but it's just like one little guy.
I think so. Like even like the peeling and stuff, like that's a process of cooking that I'm not like I don't hate. So like even the process of doing that I think is nice, you know, and it's still like using your body also. But yeah, the repetitive motion of it too is like maybe that's not as healthy, especially if there's a bunch of people that are in this community.
But also you would not be cooking.
Editing Remy here. Yeah, so the camera turned off because I ran out of storage. This happens twice for some reason. So carry on.
Where the fuck was I?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, technology. So like
Yes.
besides like the utility, but like what about like having a phone, social media? Does that exist in Paradise? In your Paradise?
I don't think it would need to, because I would hope that the validation and also the entertainment of social media could be used in the concept of just like human experience. Fundamental human experience.
IRL?
I would prefer that rather than scrolling on a little device for 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah. only 2-3 hours a day. That's it.
That's all I have time for too. I at least am able to take myself away from it to do my schoolwork. I would deal with that, but in a healthy way, in that aspect of just being like, wow,
I don't need it.
I can just enjoy,
real life.
Nature, human experiences. but yes.
Yeah. In
Paradisimo.
Who is your community? Like how many people do you interact with daily? What's your like ratio of like friends to acquaintances to strangers? How often do you see the most important people in your life? And, like, how big is your physical community? Like, what size community do you live in? Like, town, city, village, metropolis. Those are a lot of things, so maybe one at a time.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say size-wise, like, a small town would be fine, but in sense of, like...
Size.
Yeah, like, houses kind of in, like, a circle, and then, like, a meeting area, like
Vibes.
a main community space kind of thing.
A little hamlet, if you will.
Yeah, if I knew what that meant. Yeah, like, people-wise, I mean, there's definitely people in my life right now that I would want to be there, others not. But, yeah, like you, my mom, my partner, I could go on, but I won't. Yeah.
Several friends at least.
Yeah, several. And I would like some strangers too, but I would still want to know that, like...
They're not
And I mean,
shit.
I guess... Yeah, like, just in the sense of, like, utopia, the strangers that are there are
like,
safe people.
Yeah, they're not, like, racists.
Yeah, or gonna, like,
Hate
assault
crime
me.
people.
Yeah,
or...
like, that's just out of the picture.
Yeah.
So...
Safe.
Yeah.
Safe people.
Safe. That I could just be myself and with no judgment, or at least, like, fun judgment, you know? Like we do.
Is that what we're striving for?
Yeah, that's what we're striving for, because I'm a funny person, so...
A funny observation is still a funny observation.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't bully people.
No!
No, we don't, actually.
Not at all.
I don't know. I don't think we, like... Do we talk negatively about people a lot? I feel like not.
No, I mean, not a lot, but I look for it. Like, I look for tea.
Look for the downfall of certain people.
Yeah, or just, like, interesting information. Like, I love gossip. It's just, like, it
gossip
does something.
It is tasty.
And it's bad. And it's
well,
not. It's
know.
like, I don't know. Is this another episode that we'll have to break down?
Yeah, because I saw some, like, I don't know if they actually, like, released a study or a book, or, like, I just saw, like, a thing that was talking about how, like, gossip is really important for, like, maintaining community ties, and it got a bad rap after women were telling their community how abusive their husbands were, so then everyone would go beat the shit out of them, and then the church was like, gossiping is sin, because they were getting their shit told on them.
Because,
by
like,
women
that's
communicating with each other.
Women's suffrage happened. That's like, ooh, that's not good. Let's
literally
keep that under wraps.
I think literally that's it. So gossiping, not bad. It's just keeping everybody informed.
It's just the idea.
It can be bad, but I don't think it's intrinsically bad.
Yeah, or just the overarching concept of othering. So you're othering somebody from yourself.
Yeah, imagine having enough, like, conflict management, like, skills to just like
what gets
just to, like, directly talk to.
Like, what gets your goat then? Like, what do you, like...
Oh, fuck?
What gets your goat? That's, like, a saying.
Is it?
It's a saying. Anyway, but, and just being like, what's, like... Oh, like, it's so, like, there isn't anything more satisfying than finding out something about somebody that you're just like, fucking knew it! Like, it's a different level. But then it's like, that's so bad. Is that just, like, is that human experience?
I don't know. Is it only a human experience because we live in a world where other people are shitting on us all the time, so it feels nice to be on the other side of it and, like, be able to put somebody else down? Like, in a world where you weren't,
validation,
where you didn't have to, like, suffer, would you still have that need?
Oh, I don't think so. I think it is born from that, But it is just a fundamental human experience that we are all suffering in some way, or we're all, like, because then there's, like, greed and, like, oh, like, rich culture, or, like, oh, I'm gonna buy this thing just to have it, or if I'm, like, not, because if I don't have it, then I'm not cool and I'll be talked about. Like, that.
See, I kind of push back against the fact that it's, like, a fundamental human experience, because a lot of, and I know you're just gonna say this is because you think I'm autistic.
We'll see. Say your piece. I'm an open-minded person.
When I was a kid, like, when I was young, I remember that a lot of, like, people being nasty to each other, just in general, or just being mean, I remember, like, learning it through a lot of the media that I watched, or, like, through other people. Like, it wasn't something that occurred to me to do. Like, I was kind of a shit to my sister. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Joe.
But that's the difference when, I don't know.
And no,
I would know that experience because I'm not a
you're
child.
not a sibling. But I remember that, like, I didn't think that it was, like, intrinsically, like, I wasn't mean to her just because I wanted to be a lot of the time. It was because I remember seeing TV shows where siblings, like, didn't like each other, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's just how siblings interact. And then it became habitual and satisfying, so I kept doing it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's the same. I had the same experience
through media, so I don't think it's an intrinsic human characteristic. I think that it's taught to us.
But in the terms of like, how do you escape that in just human experience? Because you would learn that through other people, teach that to other people.
I think it is like manufactured. Like, I don't think it's just like, oh, some people happen to be nasty and then they teach it to their kids and it perpetuates. I think there was, like, a concerted effort to encourage animosity between people in order to further capitalism. That it took a lot of propaganda and shit in order to get us to a point where we're doing that kind of.
But capitalism is humans.
Yes.
So, like, where do we get down to the start of things? Because like, it is all just teaching people teaching people other things, and other people pushing their views because they're
I guess we can kind of get into that with, like, in terms of, like, power dynamics, but I don't think it was inevitable that it would happen, because, like, a lot of this is just, like, the legacy of colonialism, and it took a... Did you spill? Did you spill a little?
Okay, add to the stains on my shirt. But no, I had a thought that right before I got up. In your comment of not it being inevitable, we are inevitable. We are in this world. It was inevitable.
Okay, I mean,
yes. But just
no, but I'm saying that, like, I don't think it's inevitable as in it's not intrinsically human nature, that a very specific set of historical circumstances had to happen in order for the population of people who colonized the rest of the world to come to power and be able to do that. And that if, like, literally, like, environmental factors had been different, that may not have happened. It's not just, like, a fundamental component that humans are evil to each other and will go and seek out and blah, blah, blah.
But then, isn't that then, like, I know there's a term for it, but I'm not well read enough to, like, understand it, of just, like, anything could be possible, anything could happen, but, like, this happened. And, like, yes, I'm all for the multiverse. I'm all for these, like, thousands and millions of different combinations of human experience and, like, fourth dimension shit and stuff, but...
Like, and the reason that okay, let's move away from history for a second in terms of that. Like, there are studies where, like, that they've done and experiments on, like, infants and babies and toddlers, that they are, like, they prefer across the board pro-social behavior and will choose to ostracize people who are not, like, demonstrating pro-social behavior, and they show a preference for people who act cooperatively and nice to each other over, like, creatures or characters or whatever. It was a really interesting study. And that has been, like, substantiated, like, several times. Like, if you are thinking about fundamental human nature, you know, babies, like, are the least impacted by socialization as you can get because they're still pretty fresh to this world. And they do not demonstrate, you know, like, that same kind of, like, if that was the case, wouldn't they prefer...
Is that that one with the fucking puppets?
Yeah, there are other versions of that have been done as well. So, like, is it really human nature?
It just... So you have a baby. That's, like, yes, I completely agree. They're, like, moldable, and they've learned everything. They are connecting, they are building neurons, they're doing all this kind of shit. But, like, where was the point that... all of a sudden they've learned that it's better to be a powerful person. And, terms of, like, because...
When they're traumatized by their parents.
Yeah, but then their parents were traumatized, and the parents before that were traumatized.
But also, like, breaking generational curses, because you do see kids who are, like... Kids who are raised with more, like, gentle parenting, like, do you ever watch the content of that woman who, like, made like, videos about her kids who, like, learned how to cook really young, and then she gentle parents them, and, it's okay.
Maybe, I mean, I've seen a couple of gentle parenting ones, but I can't picture that specific one.
Sorry, I interrupted you also.
Well, just of, like, Sorry. There and it just
you were saying with the moment when that child who does believe in the betterment, and then when do they turn to desiring power making?
Yeah, because if a child does prefer this, and then that is the fundamental human experience, why is that not continued on in their life, in individuals' lives? Because if that was preferred and if that is better, which it is to a child, and obviously it is to us as well, we understand that, but then it's not to other people. And I mean, it's capitalism. It literally is money. And I know it comes down to that, but...
Yeah, and you know what? I think in our society, it's the fact that we don't see kids as people. We dehumanize children to the point where they're just objects to us, and we do not actually consider their feelings, and their reactions are somehow victimizing us rather than recognizing they're just like a fresh person who doesn't know yet and still doesn't have developmental-ish. But I think a lot of the strain and the reason is like resources as well. Like if your parents are constantly under strain and stress, we know that has like negative effects on people and causes them to lash out and be more angry and have less patience when you are struggling to get your just like basic needs met. And I think that if we would actually allow people to live in a situation where they're not constantly both needing to scrounge for resources, because obviously rich people exist who don't have to do that, but, you know, a lot of their world is still made up of, like, having to compete with other... Let me just fuck with this for a second.
Yeah.
Having to compete with other rich people and hold up appearances and blah, blah, blah. You also have to be sick and twisted to be, like, really, really fucking rich, and also will distort the way you see the world, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, people being able to just, like, live in a state where they don't have to fucking stress all the time, I don't think we're gonna see as many sick and twisted bitches as we do now, to the point where I don't think it'll be the dominant philosophy towards people, towards interacting with others.
No, that's very true, and I do agree with that. It's just, like, how is that not reality, then? I'm just like, it's not. And that's just like, okay, we can think about that and we can imagine this utopia and we can see these, like, because people are just moldable beings, and if you are giving them something, they will take it if they don't have any prior knowledge. But that's not the case. Like, we are prior knowledge. We are knowledge of our parents. We are generational trauma. We are all of this stuff. And so it's like, how can this utopia exist?
One person at a time.
Yeah.
One person at a time.
You know, but my utopia exists in a world that
that work is already done.
Generational trauma doesn't exist, or like that, or that work to undo that has been done. But it also, we're taught that working on yourselves is constant, and so maybe that is not possible either. Maybe my utopia is not.
Well, I mean, this is utopia. Like I said, we're just fantasizing about the perfect world. And
yeah, but it has to be possible. Wasn't that the point?
No. It said, I said it could be any. It could be any. Like, we're just imagining the ideal world that we can live in, and we're at this moment we're not thinking about how we can get there. We're just trying to imagine what a nicer world would be, like tangibly. What would it feel like to be in this world? Aside from how we would get there, we're not thinking about that at this moment for this exercise.
Okay. I'm just relating it to the sense of, like, okay, no magic, but then also no generational trauma. That's like magic. to not have that anymore.
No, I mean, I think there is whatever mechanism allows us to do this exists. Whatever physical mechanism, but I was mostly thinking about, like, you're like, I want to read minds. I want to be able to, like, that's what I meant in terms of, like, we're going for real world physics, not like, I want a pair of wings. Like, you're still, like, a person, and gravity and shit still exists.
Yeah.
And let's say that we come up with some amazing technology that allows people to heal from this or whatever. Like, the way that we got here is not the part we're thinking about. We're just here. And what is that? What would a nicer world be like? And that's what we're thinking about. So, yeah, where do we... Oh, community, right, because, like, strangers and, like, the strangers that you interact with in your community have also had the space to heal and don't feel the need to be a bitch to other people, and you can coexist well. what do you do for fun in paradise? You got your, like, painting, gardening shit.
Yeah.
What about for, like, do you have any, like, other, like, hobbies? Do you go to, like, events or parties? And how much of your days or weeks do you spend doing, like, more, like, leisurely activities besides, like, your main gig of painting and gardening?
Oh, I mean, I think that would be included in the, like, leisuring activities. I don't know, like...
You don't need a job, but I kind of separated these because, like, when I think about myself, I'd probably, like, I'm very much... I always need to be putting energy into something, so if you had picked, like, oh, I would do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and I'm more of a, like, my life should be... like, everything that I do in my life is leisure. Of, like, I enjoy every part of it.
For it to be paradise?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So,
not really a big distinction between leisure and...
Yeah, no, it would be a part of the same thing, yeah, like going to parties and, yeah, obviously that would be a part of it. Yeah, so...
How often would you do that? Like, what would be the ideal ratio of, like, your own independent hobbies and stuff and, like, bigger events and community and stuff?
I don't know if there would be a ratio. I don't like...
Whatever comes up, you choose at the moment whether or not you want to go.
Yeah, be spontaneous. The ability to be spontaneous, like not having to think about other things, that is definitely, a utopia. Because I love being spontaneous. But I'm also a responsible human being.
Having the space to be spontaneous. Yeah. In paradise, what would your relationship to the natural world, what would it be? How would you interact with it? How integrated into the natural life, or into the natural world would your... What the fuck did I write here? How integrated is the natural world in your life? How often do you interact with it? How close is it to your home? How much space does it inhabit in your community? And just for fun, like, what kind of climate or region would you live in as you're, like, if you have to pick a fave?
Oh, well, like, very integrated. I want nature to be a fundamental part of my existence because we are nature, and I think we're very removed from it due to this capitalistic hellscape that we live in. So yeah, I picture like just like natural houses, like that kind of thing, like using the earth and using the resources, you know, to live, and obviously farming and gardening and all that fun stuff. I think I haven't done a ton of thinking about it because in a sense of just like what I have never been like removed enough from this kind of life of like knowing what I need as a person in terms of like structure and I don't know, I was getting into the sense of like ritualistic kind of things and like paganism and stuff like that because I am very interested in it because it's like so old and it goes back like what was like the first thing that like people would do, and I believe that paganism is kind of along those lines in terms I guess of like white people too in like Europe. I don't know where that
there's a whole history to paganism. It's kind of like a lot of it is kind of kitschy and was invented in like the 20th century as like an alternative to Christianity, but obviously
I'm meaning the stuff before that the church stole from paganism because the church would take songs and use them for their own shit kind of thing. Like
there's a whole history thing, but like like spirituality.
What people had before Christianity,
pre-Christian spirituality and religions.
I'd say just like an earth stuff because fundamentally we are from nature, so we should be in nature. That's where it comes from.
I saw this really interesting video, which is kind of how I got to this next point, that talked about, like, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last time about how, like, fantasizing about the future as opposed to, like, actually making plans. And one of the things that they said is that, like, when you are choosing to make a change in your life, rather than choosing your, all of the pros and good sides of a perceived change that you want to make, you're rather actually just choosing the challenges and struggles that you'll have, like, from what you're doing now to the future one. So I feel like, you know, it's kind of unsatisfying if nothing ever, like, if you don't have to face adversity of any kind. So...
Well, and I think you look for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think people, obviously, they look for stuff to not like...
or at least to, like, try to push beyond or to work towards or some kind of, like, obstacles. So, what kind of challenges would you face in the perfect world? What kind of what would you want your struggles to be?
What am I gonna eat today? today. With all the things that I have chosen. I mean, that's a struggle right now, too, so I don't know that. But, struggles and things, I don't know.
What things would you not want it to be, and maybe go from there?
Oh, God, struggles between, like, interpersonal relationships, like, yeah, that just is such a pain in the fucking ass for me, like, so much, just people would just, like, talk about things all the time. Yeah, can we just talk and just be open and honest individuals and understand that we're,
direct communication.
We're human beings, and we make mistakes, and, like, that's okay. So, yeah, so that's something I wouldn't want. I would say that, I mean, living in nature, like, struggles with nature, I guess, because that is an uncontrollable element, living in the elements and things like that, of just, like, it being a real scenario. I would want it to be real, and therefore the
like,
challenges
there could be a storm that could, like, blow down a house or something, and then you have to pull together
or, like,
to
a
fix
drought, or, like really hard winter, like, those kind of things to plan for and to take action, like, future thinking in regards to that. Like, I think would be very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, if you had to, like, summarize all of your paradise, your paradise quotient, it's a real quotient. How do you, if you could summarize your paradise in, like, a couple, like, key points, what boxes would you have to check to be like, yeah, I'm here, I made it. This is the ideal world.
What? Like, sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah.
I zoned out a little bit.
What boxes would a situation have to check, or a world have to check, in order for you to be like, yeah, I made it, this is paradise?
So now we're thinking real world?
No.
So then it's like, I can just check all of them.
If you were to summarize them into a few points, like, we talked about many different aspects of life.
Okay.
But which ones, which are the most important, that if they got checked, you'd be like, yeah, or if there's any other points to a paradise that I did not touch on, what would those be?
Confident and validating interpersonal relationships. Living in nature. Yeah, I don't know.
All your needs met?
Yeah, just
like your physical needs, as in, like, shelter, food, water, blah, blah.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. To put that into a utopia sense, just being like, you know.
I don't know,
it's kind of sad when you think about it.
Actually, yeah, that was kind of how I was going to pivot into our next section.
And this is the second time the camera cuts out. All right, carry on.
The next little point that I had was, like, how similar are. Oh yes, pretty much on the same page in terms of, like, what our ideal world is. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, like, we kind of talk about this type beat semi-often, because definitely. I have dreams of having a little intentional community one day.
Yeah.
So we talk about that kind of thing a lot, and I think that probably has influenced both of our ideas of what the perfect world would be like.
Yeah.
But how similar do you think our idea of utopia is to, like, the average person? Like, what do you think would be kind of...
Oh, God, I think, like, so different. Yeah, are you kidding me?
Living like a millionaire, I guess, would be most people's idea?
I would think so, but then I also think about, like... And I mean, I'm very biased towards men, and, like, what men's utopia would be, but...
Slaves.
Yeah, and just how it, like, that's probably a big part of it for... Maybe not a lot of men would admit it, but I think that would be. And just, like, in terms of, like...
Just having power over people?
Yeah, what you see on the internet with, like, fucking trolls commenting on people's posts and shit, and just, like, yeah, that's, like, a first thing that comes to men's minds. So, that's not, not ideal. But yeah, I think ours is very, very different.
Yeah.
From a lot of people's.
I think a lot of people have a lot of, like, power fantasies that they probably, like, want to live out through paradise.
Yeah.
And, which is really interesting, because I feel like that's a lot of people's just, like, reaction to feeling powerless in the world.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And I feel like that, not to say that our idea is the best.
No.
But I feel like a lot of people, like, if they, like, really thought about what their perfect paradise advice is right now, it would end up being like a monkey's paw situation. Like they'd get it and become dissatisfied with it over time because they haven't really like actually thought about what makes them happy. For a lot of people, because it becomes very difficult to like imagine what would actually make us happy, especially if we like feel like shame about the things that would make us happy if it doesn't like fit into our societal ideals. So therefore we would choose things that would like make us feel validated in our current like approach to life, as opposed to like trying to imagine something completely different that would like bring genuine satisfaction and happiness.
For sure.
Which is actually like, this kind of ties into some of the research that I did for last week's episode, that study that was about like aspirations. And that study talked a lot about how people, or maybe I'll bring up this point. I'm gonna put a pin in this.
Okay.
About like our fantasy versus reality, and also like other people, blah blah blah. But it's gonna tie into it. Okay, so we kind of went over like the day-to-day life and how like ideal life would be. How big of a gap do you perceive that to be? Like, just take out the systemic side of it, but to like live in that kind of situation, how, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a difference is that compared to your current life in terms of the changes that would need to happen? Like physically?
In terms of exact of what I just said? Or like,
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Like settling, I guess.
Yeah, how close could you get to settling to a point where you're like, I'm satisfied. This is good.
Probably say like a 7.
A 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that it would be removed to actually achieving that. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's definitely a 10 for the exact thing of what I just said. I don't think that's achievable.
Interesting. What part is the biggest like stickler for it not being possible?
Interpersonal relationships.
Just so many unhealed people.
And finding that many people being able to do that with, I don't think that's possible.
Oh, interesting.
I really don't. Yeah. But having land and having a house, that's possible. That's very possible.
Where would you put that on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of difficulty?
Like a 5.
Yeah, like all the physical elements of your paradise.
4 or 5. It's like, I'll get there. Like, I'll have
possible.
enough money one day, I think. At least in combination of also the people around me, like the stuff that we've talked about. Like, I do think that's very possible. So.
And for me, with the different, I think, like, how difficult I perceive it to be to get to my utopia from here. Honestly, like a 3 to a 4.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's pretty possible. I just need time and resources. I think those are the only things that I need.
Okay.
And if I were to acquire even just one of those, I think I could make it happen.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. And in terms of like, the interpersonal things, I don't know. I feel like people are people and
people do be people in.
People be people in, and it doesn't bother me that much.
Right.
Versus I feel that you find it to be a large stressor.
Yeah. That's my own personal shit.
Yeah.
Mostly it's just like how I am perceived.
So for the second or for the third half of this episode, I planned to kind of talk about how I kind of wanted to talk about how I feel like one of the biggest things preventing us from living in an ideal world is resources. Like people having resources. It didn't really quite line up with what we ended up talking about in our own personal utopias, that's fine. But I think probably to get into a more convincing point would be to talk about like the nature of humanity. But honestly, I feel like most people could be living a happier and more fulfilled life than they are right now, to the point where like they could say that they were satisfied with their life if they had enough resources.
Oh yeah.
And we banned advertising.
Yeah.
And like made media consumption, like the media that's put out there, like not in a like suppress the ideas, but in like companies don't have their fingers in what gets made and what doesn't get made.
No, and they also don't have fingers in like human happiness.
Yeah.
Of just general like oh this product will improve people's lives. No, you're just gonna say that, and then we have to figure out if it'll actually improve our lives or not. Like, that's not fucking fair.
Yeah.
God damn.
Also, I just realized when I moved how bad I have to pee.
I also have to pee.
Okay, let's take a little break.
Take a little pausey. Got a snack.
Went to pee.
We're almost done.
Yeah. So, I had kind of planned to go in to talk more about, like, resources and stuff, but I think we're going to save that for next episode.
Okay.
So we have tried to enact some of our revolutionary optimism a little bit and just, like, imagine a better world.
Mm-hmm.
I think many components, the vast majority of the components to this life...
Continue. Don't let me distract you.
Right. Yeah, I think you should get a little closer to the mic and chew right into it. I wanted to talk a little bit about the material resource component. Fuck you, buddy.
Sorry.
I'm gonna close it in 2 seconds if you want to just abstain. No, you're putting your hand back in the bag.
I'm hungry!
Wait! 5 minutes. Less than that. Okay, just hold on.
Clock's ticking. Come on.
Was to talk about the main, I feel like a large part, like the bulk of the difference between our current world and our paradise worlds is just having the time and resources to like relax and to not have to labor so incredibly hard or to have so much stress about the future and in an uncertain world where the economy is in the shitter, and that means that our lives are at stake if we can't find a way to make enough money to live, and that's fucked. And I think that if most people in the world did not have to worry about that, which is most people who have to worry about that, they would consider it at least 80% of the way to paradise.
Yeah.
And just like the small surface level differences, or the way that people might imagine not having to worry about their day-to-day life is imagining like living in excess rather than just like recognizing once your basic needs are met, you're probably going to be pretty happy.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Thinking about that in the context of revolution and being radicalized, I think I really would like to spend some future episodes really talking about the material conditions of the world that we live in, why we're in a place where we can't provide enough resources for everybody, and how we can get to a place where we can provide resources for everybody.
Well, I know how to do that. Kill Jeff Bezos. Two different ideas.
Well, it could be the same idea.
That's true.
Fuck you. Okay.
You can't help it.
We'll call... Imagination. Take some time this week. This is a commandment from me to you.
Homework. Do your homework.
I
have to.
Last week we talked about why revolutionary optimism is important. And today I wanted to kind of provide a scaffolding to like really imagine what a better world would look like. And I think it would be great if everybody could take some time to like really think about the differences between their current world and a world where they could be happy and satisfied, and how little things stand in the way of that. Yeah.
Or a lot of things.
But
also there's value in that.
Yeah, there are a lot of things.
Just thinking, a thinker.
Or identify what those things are. How about we say that? What are the things that separate you from a better world?
Exactly.
From something that you could at least check all the boxes and be like, you know what? Yeah, that's paradise. Yeah, that could be paradise. What is that world? And what differentiates it from the one you're in now? I guess we'll call that an end. Okay, we'll call that done. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for
Join
listening.
us next week.
Bye.
got radicalized.
Guess I got radicalized, so I guess I've been radicalized.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Liquid cat. This episode's blooper clips is all gonna be.
I know. I was thinking of like the whole thing's just gonna be a super cat.
Super cat.
A super cut. A super cut of him being chaotic. The colors look really nice though. It's like so